So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, being out here for the last couple of months and the effect that it's had on me personally as a person, as a man, as a husband, as a fellow human being on this earth with other human beings. I spent the last, I'm going to say, 15 years of my life um, pretty much running a rat race and never even understanding what it meant to relax, to slow down, to kind of put the brakes on life and go, hey dude, you need to slow down. You're burning the candle at both ends, and you're going to burn yourself out. And this over the years led to a lot of destructive behaviors, led a lot to negative self-thoughts and negative image of myself, as if I wasn't enough for society, the way society sees a person. I was always working and working hard there for a few, for a good while. I was a functional alcoholic, and I was running my business, and when Nikki and I met, I was you know um, running the gym as well too. But you know it was a very fast-paced life, and it took a couple of years for me to realize that I was eventually going to burn myself out if I didn't find another way. And you know I always knew that living out here, living in nature, living away from the influences of society was going to be beneficial to me through my addiction. But my addiction kind of took priority a couple years ago, and it was something that I turned away from, um, and never looked back. I still don't look back. And one of the things that I woke up this morning, and I kind of just knew it. It didn't come from a book, or it didn't come from another video, or it didn't come from a lecture or anything like that I had recently viewed. It was something that just struck me as soon as I opened my eyes, as if I had known it my entire life. And it was the fact that when you live in the past, or when you're always comparing yourself to the past, or you're always comparing your present or your future to the past, you're going to get those past results, and those results are always going to reflect what always has been, or what you've always allowed to be, or what you always believe is what you deserve. And I never even conceived the fact that I deserved more out of life than what I was giving myself, that I deserved to be free, I deserved to live, I deserved to understand what it was like to live, and to set my own standards, and not necessarily allow society or acquaintances or family, or well, I don't really have any friends that I can speak of that I can say, other than acquaintances, co-workers, whatever you want to call, whoever you want to use as the reason why you don't see yourself as enough, or you don't measure up as well as the other people portray themselves to be. And so I understand that when I was living in the frequency of the past, the vibration of the past, the mindset, the ego, and a lot of people don't understand what the ego is. And it took me a couple of years to understand what the ego is. And the ego is basically nature's way of allowing you to understand to put food in your own mouth and not in somebody else's mouth when you're hungry. It gives you the me. It gives you the I. It gives you the self. And that ego is, is manipulated from the day you 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 come out of the womb. I mean, the day you're brought into existence, that ego is influenced by perspectives and perspectives of your parents and your siblings and aunts and uncles and nieces and cousins and the whole dynamic family tree. Plus, at a very young age, you get thrown into an education system that now tells you how to think, what to memorize, how to memorize it, and you know, you have your classmates and you have the popular kids or the more like kids, and you know, you just grow up, and you constantly are growing up this way, and understanding that for the rest of my life, my ego must be developed to be satisfactory to others, and it must be pleasant to others, and it must be um, hedged to protect the feelings of others and the opinions of others, and we kind of lose sight of ourselves. We kind of lose sight of the fact that you know, this is our experience. This is the experience that we were brought into this creation to develop a perspective on, based on our successes and failures. You know, when you look at a baby, and that baby gets up and it falls down, it doesn't just stay down. I mean, unless the parent teaches it, you better not get up, and that kid just, you know, will become petrified, you know, and that's where fears are instilled in people, and confidence is taken away. But if you're encouraged by somebody that says, hey, get up, try again, come on, and somebody encourages you, and they walk with you as a child, and they walk with you as a helping hand throughout life to get you to understand that life is not about fears, and it's not about portraying an ego that is satisfactory to others. And you know, it's not necessarily a societal problem, that we end up the way we end up as we progress through life. I'm 48 years old, and you know, I didn't get to the way to where I am right now. If my 48-year old self could look at my 28-year-old self, or my 20-year-old self, or even my 18-year-old self, or my 8-year-old self, I mean, I would give myself a lot different advice than what I grew up with. I raised a son. He's 28 years old, and won't have anything to do with me, because in his perspective, in his perception, I failed him as a father, and I get it. I understand it. You know, that's not for me to interfere with his perception or his experience on this planet. You know, my hopes are that one day he will see that you know, life is a journey. There's going to be failures and successes, and people are going to let you down, and you're going to let yourself down, and there's no way to avoid that. But you know, if I lived in the past, or if I lived in the illusion that great things are going to happen the way I want them to happen, through the influence of another person, or by influence of another person, you know, there was one thing that I took away from my Christian journey, and it was probably the last thing that I parted with, when I developed the sense that there was more to spirituality than what just the Bible or the Quran or any of the other biblical or holy books portray. You know, it's you know, God has the power to create everything on the planet. He's got the power to create, species. The creator's got the power to create the trees, the earth, the mountains, miracles. He can save you. He can do all these great things. But the one thing that 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 God, the Creator, does not have the power to do, and He doesn't have the power to make you love Him. He doesn't have the power to make you love His creations. He doesn't have the power to make another person love you or hate you. And that was a valuable lesson in my life, understanding that this all-powerful Creator created everything with purpose and with integrity and intuition and instinct. But the one thing that He left up to humanity was to choose who you love and who you don't love, who becomes part of your world and becomes part of the influence of your life, and who doesn't get to become the part of that influence of life. And I know that a lot of people will push religion and push their religion and push their perspective of what the historical Creator was intending to do with humanity. And I get it. I mean, I'm not an idiot when it comes to biblical texts. I've read the Bible 4 times throughout my lifetime, but it's something that it's not final to me. I think that the journey of what Jesus and God and all the disciples and everybody who was part of the Bible were trying to tell people, it was it's about what's in here. It's about what's within, and nobody can do that for you. It's like I said with my son. I can't influence my son, or I can't expect my son to come back into my life, because I'm enjoying my life. I'm loving my life right now. I am the happiest I've ever been in my life, but that's my journey. That's not his journey. So I can't, I don't and will not instigate communication with him, because it's something that he's going to have to figure out on his own. He's on his own journey. He's learning and understanding what it means to be a man, and like I said, I'm 48 years old, and it's taken me 48 years to understand what being a man is, and understanding wholeheartedly what a man's capabilities are, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. We do have limitations, but because of society's expectations of us, we're supposed to be these heroic, never make a mistake, flawless creatures that aren't allowed to show their failures, or show their crises in life, or to show pain or empathy or anything like that. Because once you start doing that, then you have the other men. Oh, we're going to take your man card away, and you're going to have to wear a skirt, or and that's a bunch of bull. That's the mentality, that's the ego that I speak of men that has developed over the years. Well, my grandpa, he fought bears, and he plowed fields with his toenails, and he was the most heroic man. Paul Bunyan was a wussy compared to him, and it's like, and then we develop that subconscious mental image of, man, how am I ever going to mount up to him? And, in reality, he was just another man, just like my father. He's just another man trying to figure out this crazy world that we live in, and what it means to be here. And through being here the last couple of months, my mind, my heart, my spirit has really opened up to I like this place. I like Earth. I like this experience. Now, I like this experience because I'm creating it. I'm in control of it. Um, as far as what I say is man enough, and what I say is good enough, and what I say is fair enough for me to continue being who I am, I've actually released quite a bit from the past, just in the last couple of months that I've been here, and it's just been a little over 2 months that I've been here, and I can't believe the growth that I've experienced through here. I know I'm a little bit ranty sometimes. I know I'm a little bit hot-headed when it comes to issues that are going on in the world right now, and I mean, I've come up fighting my whole life. I've fought from elementary school all the way till now to become who I am, and to find myself in the position that I am. And Nikki was having a conversation with me earlier about her grandfather, and how she could see that maybe in his early days, in his 40s and in 50s, that he was probably a hard ass like me, but in his later years, he really softened up, and he really got life, and he lived life, and that's something that I hope that I can accomplish, and that too much time doesn't go by before others realize that it's a journey. It's not always easy. It's not always what you thought it was going to be. It's not always pleasant. But when you find that moment, and you find that moment to where you're not even thinking about anything else. And I had an experience like that yesterday while we were out here, and I told Nikki about it. We were chasing cows. Cows got onto the land, and I was chasing cows through a fence, and the dog gave up on us. He was kind of like, you know what, we've been chasing these cows for 2 hours, and I'm tired. So he went back up to the house, and I found a moment where it was me chasing the cows and going, this is exciting, this is adventurous, this is living. And it was my experience. Nobody else was there to see it. Nobody else was there to experience it. But I was in that moment. I was absolutely in that moment, and nothing else mattered. So we got the cows off the land. But just wanted to share those thoughts, that perspective. That if you are a young man, or if you're a man my age, or even if you're a man older than me, and you're struggling, and you're trying to find that foothold in life to where things make sense again, it's there. You just have to journey towards it, and you have to choose that journey. You have to choose that all else is something that can wait, that can take a break. Focus on yourself. Focus on the inside you, and not the outside you, because there is a difference, and I know it, and you know it. Whether you're brave enough to admit it, or whether you're too manly to admit it. I'm not. I'm so manly, I will admit it, that there is a difference between what's in here, and what's out there. And we're pretty good actors when we want to be. But when the time is right, and that moment that you get caught up in is just you, and the experience of you, and the experience of everything around you, just falls away, and you just become um, fascinated with you. That's when the, and I can't remember what movie it was. Um, that's when the man you are and the man you're gonna be um, come together and meet, and I think the man I'm going to be and the man that I've been have finally met, and I'm excited about it. I've never had that experience before. Maybe a few times in the gym, or maybe a few times at work, where success was the goal. But I'm not looking for success out here. I'm looking for another moment like that. I'm looking for the next moment like that. That it's just where I'm so involved with something that I literally realize what's going on and go, wow, you're enough. And so I'm going to leave it there. Like, subscribe. It's a little bit different video, sappier video than I normally do, but just wanted to share those thoughts, share that that perspective, that experience. I shared it with Nikki, and now I just wanted to share it with you guys. So take care.